Hey, what is up, everybody? It is Dr. Vibe, host and producer of the Dr. Vibe Show. Speaking of that, you are blessed and highly favored. You're a magnet for miracles and your solution for someone's problem. I am also the host of the Dr. Vibe Show on the Good Men Project, one of the most viewed sites in the world for men, and it's averaging about 3 million page views a week. So if you want to connect with us during our conversation tonight, you can certainly touch base with me at DRVIBESHOW on Twitter. Well, another great friend of the show, new friend to the show tonight, and it is Isis Brantley. And all I'm going to say to intro her is that she is, according to her, today's Rosa Parks. So if that doesn't get you interested in watching this, one of my mentors would say your wood is wet. So on that note, let us introduce Miss Isis Brantley. How are you this evening?
I'm fabulous, and thank you so much, Dr. Bob.
Oh, the pleasure. Yeah, the pleasure's mine, and have to give a big shout out to Rhonda Lee, who informed me about you. And so a big shout out to her, and thank you so much for making me aware of the importance of what you are doing.
Oh, thank you, Rhonda Lee.
Yeah, she's a friend of the show. So let's find out a little bit of a background about yourself. So go ahead.
Okay, I am a native of Dallas, Texas, and I started the natural hair movement, or the healing through the hair movement, back in 1980, and I had a passion for it. I actually was in school for theater and drama, and I dropped out of school, and I started this new passion of mine, which was the love of natural hair and the care of African hair and African hair standards. I started just patronizing the whole idea of doing something different in the community, teaching people how to incorporate the informal economy that exists in all of our communities worldwide. I started going door to door, helping young children to embrace natural and helping their parents to learn how to take care of their natural hair. And then I had this overflux of energy and people that were coming to me in the community that wanted to learn the art. So I've had people that didn't want to be in corporate America anymore, young ladies who may have lost their jobs, became homeless, with a lot of children, kind of took them under my wings and gave them the art of ancestral braiding. And that's pretty much what I've done for the last 33 years. I call myself a social entrepreneur because what I'm trying to do is uplift the community. Community development is very important to me, so it's important that we untangle the roots of African hair, one person at a time. And that's been my passion for these years.
Excellent. Well, I want to get a little bit further back, and thank you so much for such a full and rich description because there's so many different conversation pieces from what you've shared with us. But I want to go back. What was life growing up, Isis, in Dallas, Texas, young lady in Dallas, Texas? Because my thought process, and correct me if I'm wrong, is there are not too many people of color when you were growing up in Dallas, or in Texas, sorry.
Absolutely. I was reared by a 14-year-old. My mother was 14 years old when she had me, and we grew up in the projects. And I just so happened to have the same zealousness about life in the projects because my mother was a very, very funny lady, and she loved all five of us, and we would always do things to entertain each other in the household. So we would put on shows in the projects. People would come and they would actually see our shows. We would have the Cool Cat Club where people would pay a penny to come in, and we'd have popcorn, snow cones, and things like that for them. So I did these types of things growing up. I was on a show, Operation Soul, years ago. And back during that time, I was born in the 50s, the late 50s. And when I became aware of the art and beauty of entertainment and laughter and joy, I was about 6 years old. So I knew that there was a lot of racial unrest during that time, but some reason why I don't know, I just kind of I don't know. I just kind it didn't bother me. I was never concerned with what was going on. And so I put all my energy into entertaining the community with my sister and my mom and my brothers. And we would just create things, just dances and all types of poetry and songs. I'm a songstress, and we just had a lot of fun. So Mama didn't even have issues with, during that time, it was the civil rights movement going on, and, Kennedy had been murdered and Martin Luther King. We didn't have the type of culture in our home with my mom because she was a working mom, a young mom, had 2 jobs, and basically all she wanted to do was come home and forget the outside world and have fun. And that's kind of how she raised us. And she was very upset when I graduated from college and got interested in the Black movement. She was like, oh, no, 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 not that Black stuff. Please don't do that. And I'm like, but I'm interested. So I learned more about the cadres and the Black Panther parties and things like that when I went to North Texas State University, because there were a lot of different organizations on campus that were addressing the problems that were facing African Americans during that time. But basically in my home, it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of Christmas gifts, beautiful petticoats, dressed up very beautiful, and they called me the woman of the mirror. Every time they looked for me, they always would say,
I like that, the woman of the mirror.
Mother of the mirror, woman of the mirror, because I would always be in the mirror. When everyone needed me to wash the dishes or clean the floor or mop or whatever, they knew where to find me. I was always in the mirror.
Oh, very nice. So beauty was something that was in your soul from a very young age.
It was, and Mama, she cultivated that. So I didn't worry about all the other things we saw, and we watched very little TV. So it was the school books. I was always theatrical on programs, doing poems and poetry and winning contests and being Miss this and Miss that. I was Miss Percy Anderson, which was my middle high school that I attended. And then I became Miss Skyline during my high school that I attended. So it was always this beauty thing that just took, I guess it took precedence over my whole life.
Excellent. You say that your mother raised all of you, and I always find it interesting if you, with friends of the show, could you tell me what legacy your mother has left for you and in you?
Oh, my mother is an entrepreneur. My mother owns her own business right now. My mother came literally from nothing. She got pregnant by my dad. My grandmother said, you stay pregnant, but he's going to get a college education. And that's what my dad did. He went to Bishop College, and he became a football player and then ultimately a teacher. And Mother, she just kind of cultivated her own dreams. She was very talented. She sings, she writes. She has about 3 books out right now. This is the legacy she left me. I don't even think she even realizes it. But she was an example for all 5 of us. I'm the eldest of the 5. And she was an example because she was always doing something to provide for her kids, doing something to elevate and grow herself up because she was a kid too. So she has left a strong legacy of independence, self-determination, and entrepreneurship. I think that's where I got a lot of my charisma from.
Absolutely. And she's still alive today?
She's still alive today.
Wow. Yes. Wow. So does she still share stories about you and your siblings growing up? Does she share some wonderful memories when you're with her?
I was, you know what they call me? Mom, they call me the black, what's that lady's name on All My Children?
I don't watch
Erica Kane.
Okay.
Black Erica Kane.
Erica Kane, all right.
My family look at me as a shero. They think, oh, she's so beautiful. She said that, and I think that about them. And I'm thinking that, I have the same problems that you all have. But I was the first of my mom's children to step out as an entrepreneur.
Right.
Like, I never had a job. I never clocked in anywhere. I never answered to anyone. I started out doing what I love, and that's taking care of people and making them very beautiful. So
where did the interest, when do you remember the first interest in hair entered your journey?
well, a part of us having the Cool Cat Club, we would also have a little beauty shop. In every home, I think, in America, there is a kitchen beauty shop. So we would do each other's hair on the porch. We would cornrow all funky, do the little afro out, and all those things that we are trying to learn to do today in 2014. We were doing it. Of course, we were using Crisco and one of Erykah Badu's favorite greases. What you call that grease? Blue Star Magic. She loves me to use that on the braids when I'm doing her hair. But we had a fun time embracing what was innate in us. So the art of braiding just came out. I mean, we did the beading, we did the thread wrapping, we did all types of designs right there in the community. And everybody would know, go to Billy Brantley's children, go to Billy Brantley's children, because that's where you can get the best hairstyles from. So that's when I realized that, hey, this is something I really like, even though I was afraid to look like that in school. And I never wore the cornrows or the beads or anything in school. I would always relax my hair or press my hair really, really, really straight and look like I dream of a genie. So I would have this real long, pretty ponytail, and that was my look throughout my whole teenage years until I went to college and I saw something different and I was like, Soul Train. Whoa! I'm like, oh, look at the long braids. I want to do that. So it was just really, really a life that I've always known. I always say that Hollywood is missing a star because I know soon I'll be able to do things for the stars, you know, and I'm already catering to stars in my own community, and I tell my community that all of you are my stars. And of course, I am a celebrity stylist, so I have those that I've touched, and they always want me to touch them when it's time to do braids or locks or twist or whatever. But I just knew that that was something beautiful, and I embraced it.
So you get influenced by Don Cornelius, and you change your style. When did the thought come to take it to the next level?
Oh my God, when I started making money.
Yeah.
When I started seeing them dollars stack up, I have to say, the black community in the Dallas-Fort Worth-Denton Metroplex and all across this country has been good to me and my 5 children. When I look at it, I say, well, we take care of the Asians and we take care of the manufacturers that produce the chemicals and the things that we so dearly love. But my people have also taken care of me and my 5 children. So when I started seeing the value of what I was doing financially, I started to share that with the next generation, because these are the things that we talk about when we talk about poverty and disenfranchised communities. There really shouldn't be any poverty. There really shouldn't be any disenfranchised communities. When you have gifts, when you have a love and a passion for something, you can always monetize it. And that's what I try to teach the youth.
Excellent. You've been doing this for a long time, but I guess we can trans into what's been going on over the last little while. You're having a little bit of a disagreement with the government. I'll put it lightly. Would you like to share with our audience the little challenge that you're going through right now, and whatever you're comfortable with, because it is still in legal present time? What happened first in order for you to take this to the government and saying this is not right?
Dr. Vibe, in 1997, I was arrested in my temple, and I call this my temple where I am today, right now, in this interview with you, for 25 years. I was arrested by 7 cops and taken to jail for braiding hair in Dallas.
Okay, hold on. I want you to describe to our audience what that was like, that actual moment, because first of all, we'll get to the braiding part, but that must have been a freaky experience.
Oh my God. It was the most funniest, but also the most humiliating experience that I ever experienced those emotions at the same time, because I had my babies, I had clients, I was doing a reporter's hair, then I had a couple of other people waiting, and these two ladies who are friends with me, who I do their families here, posed as undercover cops, and they just came in and said, we want to do a consultation. So I didn't get no signs that there was something about to happen to me. And before I knew it, I should have known it because of the body language. But one cop just kind of posed, and the other one that I knew, she was saying, I want to get my hair done, Isis, can you do my hair? And then I began to tell her my spiel about consultations and things like that. And she pulled this badge out. She said, Isis, you're under arrest for braiding hair in this shop. And I said, are you serious? She was like, Isis, please, this is serious. And by the time she said, Isis, please, this is serious, I looked at her and I knew that something was about to happen. And I asked her, I said, well, can I call my children and call people if I'm really going to go to jail? By that time, she said, I'll give you a minute to make the phone calls, but you have to go to jail. And by that time, 7 cops came in, fully dressed. And I was like, I'm going to jail. I'm going to jail for real. So I got everything settled, and she was telling me I had my head wrapped in a beautiful gele. And she said, Isis, I need you to cooperate. I'm not going to put the chain, I call them shackles, but I'm not going to put the handcuffs on tight. But you have got to cooperate with the officers. And at that point, I said, okay, I surrender. I surrender. I surrender, God. It's in your hands. And they carted me off like a common criminal, took me to New Sterrick, strip searched me, looked all over my body, and threw me in a cell with people that were real criminals. And it was really sad. But I didn't stay long, and after that, I thought, you know what? The crime was braiding without a cosmetologist license. Braiding without a cosmetologist license. It didn't make sense to me because I'm not a cosmetologist. I'm an ancestral braider, and they are not in my jurisdiction, and I'm not in their jurisdiction. So I was trying to figure out how was it that I have been braiding 20 years prior, or 10 to 12 years to be exact, about 12 years prior to you finding out that I was a braider in Southern South Dallas. So the war was on then. I was like Rosa Parks. They said, right, please get up and go get your license. Give us $17,000 and give us the money so that you can be legal. And I said, but I don't understand. $17,000 for what? And they said to learn how to do relaxers and work with people with chemicals and work with sharp instruments. But I said, no, because I don't do that. In my hands, I can't do that. You know, I'll get eczema or something. So I was really serious and adamant about not crossing over to something that it just made no sense to me. So it was a no-brainer, and I did for 14 years. We back and forth. Well, we're going to have a trial. I had a trial. I had a trial where they found me guilty of practicing cosmetology. So after that was over with, they said they put a what do you call it, an injunction against me. They closed down my shop, and for about 6 months I couldn't braid in the shop. But of course I went back to the kitchen because that's where it started from. You know, I went back to the kitchen and I kept servicing my clients.
Absolutely.
And then all of a sudden, you know, I got a lawyer, and my lawyers took care of it, and then I was able to come back to my shop. And then after that, they were back and forth, and they said, okay, Isis. And it's a whole lot of political stuff that happened, too. So you'll know about that in my book with
right.
the state of versus ISIS. But in 2007, they grandfathered me. I was the only African American braider in the state of Texas that was given the right to braid hair without going to the cosmetology school. And I happened to be instrumental in changing the law requirement from 1,500 hours to 35 hours. But I didn't have to even do those 35 hours because they said, who are we going to get in the state of Texas to teach you? I said, yeah. Who are you going to get in the state of Texas to teach me? So they said,
Right.
okay, your grandfather.
So let me ask in a few conversation pieces, and thank you so much for really giving us the full story. Before you were arrested, did they give you any warnings?
Before I was arrested, we had started the Texas Underground Breeders Association in Texas. And what the state of Texas did when they cited me, they said, we didn't even know people were braiding hair in this state.
Come
I was like,
on.
huh?
Come on.
So
Come
what
on.
happened, yeah, I know, but what was going on was it was just that they didn't have any regulations for the art of breeding in their books, in their curriculum. So they
Right.
didn't look at it as a means to finances. They didn't look at it as anything that would be inclusive of cosmetology. So what happened was they kind of just were thrown off guard. Do you know they videotaped the whole arrest? They videotaped it. They were just kind of thrown off guard. I was warned. I got arrested in '97, and I got warnings from the beauty colleges. And just so happened, the one beauty school, the owner of it sat on the board. So he had been calculating my arrest for years because he would tell me, you're the queen of braids in Dallas, you're the queen of braids in Dallas, and everybody, we have to send everyone to you because we don't know how to do this art. So it was something new to them, and it just caught them off guard, and they wanted to capitalize off of, for those that have been in the industry, they always try to protect their interest. So they monopolize the whole industry. So anybody like me, I pose a threat. And so what they wanted to do was say, well, shoot, if I have to go to school and learn, then you need to go to school and learn. So that was the thing. And I just caught them off guard.
Because you're so good.
And because I didn't learn from them. This is something
Ah,
like most cultural art forms are not taught by any states. They had the issue with threading, and the Indian ladies who thread in their country, and
right.
it's a part of their tradition, they had to go through something similar to what I'm going through. That's why my lawsuit that launched October the 1st is important, because what I told them was, I just don't want a piece of paper that say I am a braider. I'm an instructor. I'm an educator. I'm the matriarch in Texas that triumphed through struggle. I changed the laws here. I'm the one that I was the trailblazer. I'm the one that set the precedence for this whole matriarch of natural here in Texas. So I wanted to be treated fairly. So they said, no, you can't. You can teach in my schools, and we'll allow you to teach in the schools, but you can't have your own school, ISIS. There's no way we will allow you to teach or give a license out in your own school. So I said, well, I'm teaching anyway. I'm teaching and I'm certifying my people, and it's a classroom setting of education in the art of natural hair, and that's something that your schools are not familiar with. They are not trained, and they are not skilled at. So it didn't make any sense for 2 years. In 2010, 2011, the state of Texas allowed me to give license in their schools. But when I said, now I want to take it from your schools and do it in my own school, they said, no, you can't give a license. You can do certifications, but you cannot give license in your school. So I got with the Institute for Justice,
Right.
and they said, okay, we'll take your case, because
Right.
this is a case of economic liberty. You know, they don't mind you doing teaching braiding in their schools, but they don't want you to make any money. And just
Was it
think,
was it easy? Was it your thought to take this to court for a long period of time? Like when the state of Texas said you can't do it on your own, was it in your mind to say, you know what, this is wrong, I'm going to take it to court? And also the organization that's representing you, were they all for it, or had they even done something like this before?
oh yes, they have been instrumental in freeing so many different ISISes throughout the country.
Okay.
There are 7 states that are free, and I have a list of those states. And the lady that she and her husband, Pamela Farrell, and Talit Dean Upta from Washington, D.C., they own the company Cornrows and Company. She's my mentor. She
Okay.
was the first one cited for braiding illegally in the District of Columbia. So she and her husband started a group where they went around with the Institute for Justice and they started helping sisters with these unfair laws. So it has been done before.
Okay.
I was working with some of the people at Texas Licensing Board of Education who said that they would help me go through the process to become certified as a legitimate school in the state of Texas. But they tricked me. They didn't do it, and I was supposed to go with them during the time legislation was here last year, 2013, and they never ever called me back, and they just kind of gave me the cold shoulder. So I called the Institute for Justice and said, look, this is a case of economic liberty, and African braiding in this country is the today's civil rights movement. And they got really interested in that. They were like, okay, what is it? And I told them short what it was. They said, we'll take your case. We never lose a case, and you're going to win this case. And I believe that with God's help and the help of those that understand economic liberty and the rights, I just want human rights to practice the art of ancestral braiding. And I think it's only fair.
Excellent. Can you just share with us, and I know you did at the beginning of our conversation, the importance and the historical piece of ancestral braiding, but can you delve into it a little bit deeper, how important it is to African American culture?
Yes. The world, all the pop world cultures, all the other diverse communities, they all embrace the art of ancestral braiding. They are celebrating this art right now all over the world. African braiding is ancient. Cosmetology was first established in ancient Egypt. We were the first known cosmetologists. In Africa, there's so many different tribal looks of African hairstyling. So when we were not privy to practicing this art as we went through the Middle Passage and lost a lot of our tools and grooming instruments, somehow the art of braiding remained with us. A lot of us don't have to take classes because we are the ones that teach the classes when we go into the schools because it's innate in us. So the world celebrates the art of ancestral braiding, and it is an art that was enslaved in this country. In the early 1900s, it was against the law to be seen in public with afros and braids and twists and locks. And people all over the world would advertise in different magazines and newspaper articles. You owe it to your race to make yourself look better. They had what was called the kink killer back during the mid-1900s, 1930, 1940, 1950s. They were really on a strong marketing project to denounce and debase African identity in America. African hair was totally removed from American social systems. It was popular to wrap your hair with an I ain't your mama rag and be out in public versus being seen with this look or afros or two-strand twists. So everything is cyclical. Cyclical. Everything that we are going through today, we went through back during the Madam C.J. Walker and before that period. So the enslavement of black hair is something that is really,
it's 1930.
Really, really not looked at in this country. So we wonder why Rhonda Lee was removed from her job. We wonder why the guy in Hampton couldn't wear his dreadlocks. We wonder why our children, like Vanessa Van Dyke, told to cut her hair or leave the school, why these things are happening to us. Because black hair was enslaved in this country, and now we are trying to part the sea of 400 years without a comb, one person at a time. And I mean that literally. We're trying to re-establish, redefine the beauty standards of African people worldwide. So that's my thing.
You know, and it's interesting because I think this correlates. A few years ago, I saw a movie produced by two gentlemen, Bill Duke, and I forget the other gentleman's, D. Chansonberry, called Dark Girls.
Yes.
Don't know if you ever heard of that movie or seen that. Yeah. What?
I met Bill Duke when my
Yes.
daughter's film got into the film festival. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's interesting to see that. Do you feel that a number of African Americans have lost their connection with their ancestry, whether it be in regards to braiding or other cultural heritage? Do you feel that they're losing a little bit of their perspective and thought process and relatability to their heritage?
Absolutely. It's obvious when you look at the stats and see that we spent $200 billion last year in the beauty industry, and that money came out of the African hand dollar market into hands that don't look like these. So that's a sign right there that we do not own our own beauty standards. Not only do we not own and possess the right to them, we do not love who we are when we look at the mirror at them. So we are still trying to find a reason why we should love dark skin. We're trying to find a reason why we should talk positive about our children's hair. We're trying to find a reason why we can't convince the boss at our jobs in corporate America, be it whatever job you have, that we grow hair like this and it's not going to affect what we do for this business. So until we can love who we are, something happened to me and made me know that it's just not Black Americans that are suffering with self-love and the identity of nappy hair and dark skin. I was at the airport in 2011, and there were a group of African ladies who obviously dominate the braiding industry in America, who had an issue with me having a big nappy afro. So I cleared the checkpoint, got my belongings from the people, went downstairs to catch my flight, and before I knew it, the one dark-skinned Black girl who had her hair weaved with something on it was with another white guy, and they were running after me saying, "Lady, you with the afro, we forgot to check your hair for bombs."
Come on, hold on. Check your hair for what?
For bombs, so explosives. Yeah, that's what they wanted to do, was check my hair for explosives. But it was way out of order. The timing was off. It was like you let me through the checkpoint, and then 10, 15 minutes later, you come after me to check my hair for bombs. And they did it in front of everyone, which was, all I could do was cry. It's like, you don't let us dig in your hair, you will not be able to catch your flight. So I let that happen, and one of the ladies that worked for TSA said, "Go upstairs and report her." That lady lost her job because when I got upstairs, I forgot I was supposed to say something to the manager. I just walked up to her and said, "Don't you ever do that to another Black person ever in your life. You know, if you want to know if my hair is real, then you can ask that. But don't create a spectacle for Black people, because that's not pretty. You can lose your job doing that. You know, this guy is going to be here, but you will be gone." And pretty much that's what happened. He stayed on the job, but she got fired because she initiated. She created that. Only
Right.
because black women want to know, is that your real hair? And or is all that your hair? And I say to people, you know what? We created the whole industry of beauty. Everything anybody is doing, whether they're doing it on stage, whether they're doing it in theater, whether they're in the schools, wherever they're doing it. And it's something to do with embellishing hair and making it grand and making it beautiful and creating that whole image. That's African. So you don't walk up to someone and tell them you like their hair by saying, is that all your hair? Because it's like, do you do that to people when you see their teeth are pretty? Do you do that to them when you see they have a beautiful physique? No. So manners, integrity, and morals have to be reincorporated into African beauty standards. And that's what we're losing. We're not only losing the trillions of dollars, but we're losing the respect because we don't know who we are. Fashion and ancestral beauty in this country, culture, is number one. And if we don't embrace it, I promise you, the Latinos don't mind embracing it. The Jamaicans are embracing it. The Europeans are embracing it. And people over in France are embracing everything that your ancestors are owners of.
Wow. You know, what you're just saying there's, I think, not only just in regards to the beauty movement amongst African Americans and Black Americans or Black North Americans and Blacks around the world, but those are standards for life, period. I think it was a powerful statement you made that manners, integrity, and morals, like, I can so much relate because when I was growing up, my dad said the most important thing are manners and respect.
That's right.
And right across the board. I think you may have already said this, but what is your message to, I guess, first of all, Black women when it comes to what you're doing and the importance of what you're doing?
I think this is very important that we support one another. And I think that whether you go natural or you wear your hair relaxed or you wear your hair pressed, we must still respect one another. I think it's important that we embrace this industry and start to pass it down to our little ones and teach them the art of natural hair care just for the sake of cultivating the household. You know, beauty standards are very sacred to Africans. Not Africans today, but ancient Africa. To be a stylist was to be something very, very highly revered. And we have lost the respect of that. I think parents must learn how to care for their children's hair themselves. I think we should take time to teach children that this is not a dreadful time. This is supposed to be a moment where you combined love and you come together and you learn and you grow with your child. But the way that we have flipped it, it's a dreadful time. We don't want to work with hair that's natural. We teach our children that their hair is bad, and we create this stigma with these babies that when they see you coming with a comb, they're running for their lives. And it's not fair that they think this way, and there's nothing outside of us is making us do this. We are doing this to ourselves. Everything that we are because we created. Everything that we are not because we won't take a stand and redirect our energy towards the beauty that the world is loving and celebrating all over the world. I've been asked to come to Japan. I've been asked to come to China. I've been asked to go to Africa. The world loves who African people were created to be. We have got to get out of our Willie Lynch syndrome of thinking that somebody is doing something to us. No one is doing anything to you but you. Learn how to care for yourself. Become a healthier people. Learn what causes eczema in your child. Learn what causes seborrhea on your scalp. Learn the breakdown of the shaft and the hair root. Learn how to care for African hair. And you don't need YouTube to teach you. All you need to do is study herbs, oils, and everything that came from God's earth. That's from coconut oil to olive oil to apples, oranges, bell peppers, and everything that we should be putting in our blood to have a healthier mind, healthier antennas, and a very happy, go lucky spirit. And that's what I wish for my ladies.
Okay, now let me flip it. What do you want to share to the black men that are watching and listening out there when it comes to what the importance of the African hair movement is?
That black men need to start studying what's important to their scalp and why they're getting male pattern baldness and why their scalp is flaky and why they're dying of all these different issues, and embrace the goddess in them, because a lot of us were raised to take care of ourselves by our great-great-grandparents. They showed us how to eat for our beauty. They showed us how to take care of ourselves inside out. So the men, I think they have to stop looking at what woman is wearing a weave and what woman's hair is real and what woman has this look and this shape and that shape, and start taking care of themselves. The women who are lost are creating a situation with men who are also lost. Men cannot take care of their diabetes because they don't understand that it's the sugar that you're putting in your blood that's causing it. Men cannot take care of their scalp disorders because they don't understand that it's the dairy that you have a serious allergic reaction to. And if you taper off these things that are causing external things to happen to you, your heart, your blood, your kidneys, your liver, your pancreas, things would be so much better. Just remember what Grandma said. It's the natural things in earth that keeps us well. Living green will keep you clean. And we need to learn more about herbs, how to use them, how to mix them up. For men, if you have a scalp disorder, just use some aloe vera. Not only do you drink it, men, but you use it on your head. So they need to become healers as well and stop looking at the external vision of what we think a woman is, because you don't get the flack that women get. Men that go bald, they're not looked at the same as women who go bald. You know what I'm saying? Women go bald. They're looked at and talked about.
Are you addressing that to me?
I am not, because you are beautifully bald. You're beautifully bald, and that's a beautiful thing, you know. But I just want to say, get you some ice-sized energy, and all you men get on the tea tree shampoo that I make, and go to my website and get this tea tree shampoo at naturallyisis.com, and I can take care of your scalp, men. Find women that will put their fingers in your scalp, that will take oils and clean your scalp and help you to become healthier. Healthier.
That's good.
That's what I say,
good.
Healthier.
All right. Well, before we let you go, I'd like to say thank you so much for sharing time with us this evening, and I hope you have time to come back and visit us and share with us on what's going on with the case and what you're doing. Before we let you leave, I guess one final thing is that how can people contact you?
Okay, people can contact me by going to naturallyisis.com or naturallyisis@yahoo.com, and they can call me at 214-329-3820. This is a movement, everyone. Let's pull together and try to help the world, try to help each other get better and healthier, and that's my commitment. You know, each one teach one, and each one let's all reach one.
You know what, and before I let you go, where does the case stand right now? What's the next step?
The state of Texas has moved to a motion to have a hearing. So we are about to have a hearing in about 2 to 3 months from now, and that is, I forget how they say the name of it, a deposition.
Right.
Deposition.
Good stuff.
Yeah, so their lawyer and my lawyer are going to be there, and I think we have a really big winning opportunity here with a couple of Texas schools and rehabilitation centers seeking me out to teach natural hair and natural braiding to their people who have disabilities. So that's what we're waiting on. 3 months from now, this how do you say it?
Disposition.
Disposition.
There we go.
Disposition is going to take place, and then I'll keep you all updated.
Excellent. Well, Isis, thank you so much for sharing with us tonight. Really appreciate it, and don't take it for granted. You promise you're going to keep us up to date?
I promise. I promise. It's my duty. I have to.
Right.
Let me tell you that when this law is when we win, there will be natural hair schools all over the world, and that's my. You'll have your barber college, you have your cosmetology, and you'll have natural hair institutions all over the world, and that makes me happy. And the children will have something to look forward to.
Excellent. Well, that is naturally Isis Brantley sharing from Texas with us on her journey, some of her journey, and we are so blessed and highly favored that she had time to share with us tonight. We'd just like to say it's Dr. Vibe here, host of the Dr. Vibe Show. Also have the only online show to be regularly featured at the Good Men Project, one of the most viewed websites in the world, averaging about 3 million page views a week. If you want to touch base with me, just go to THEDRVIBE show, the Dr. Vibe Show. All my contact information is there. Remember, you're blessed and highly favored. You're a magnet for miracles, and you're a solution for someone's problem. Thank you for everyone who watches the show, listens to all the shows. We appreciate it when you don't take it for granted. God bless, peace, well, and keep the faith. Bye-bye.